Hello, hello. It is your favorite Mexican American in Germany, Vanessa MW. Today, we are talking all about how to travel hack all year round since the world is opening up, and I honestly feel like my old self again. I have some great trips coming up this summer. We are safely traveling through places like Portugal, Greece, and in order to do that most effectively, I'm definitely going to be travel hacking my entire time there. And we have a wonderful guest to talk about just that. There she is. Hello, hello.
Hello, hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Let me fix this a little bit. Welcome to the show. We are all so excited to hear about how we can further prepare ourselves to be travel hacking all year round, because points don't sleep and neither do we.
Absolutely.
So, will you give yourself a little introduction, what your name is, where you're dialing in from, and what your platform is?
Sure. So, hi everybody. My name is Julia Menez. My handle is GeoBreeze Travel. I mostly hang out here on Instagram, probably too much every day. And my other main platform is on my podcast. You can hear the GeoBreeze Travel podcast, where I interview travel hackers from all walks of life. Because I don't know if any of you have ever Googled best points and miles blogs or best travel hackers or anything, but it's always like the same 12 white guys over and over again.
Yes.
And there's a lot of other people and a lot of other communities who are really into points and miles, but just for some whatever reason never get featured. So I try to find those people and feature them on my podcast. And we have white guys as well.
I mean, we have to let them in somewhere. I am also on Julia's podcast, so go check out our travel hacking episode on her podcast. Is it also GeoBreeze as the title of your podcast, or?
Yes, GeoBreeze Travel Podcast.
Okay, awesome. Julia, will you do me a favor and just tap on your face, because your phone is not focusing on your face. It's focusing on the back for some reason.
Is it doing it?
Maybe it'll fix itself eventually. But oh, there we go. Okay, it's doing it better. There we go. Perfect. So we are here to talk about travel hacking, and what does that even mean? Let's set a baseline first.
Sure. So travel hacking, is the way that I teach it, is how we can travel for pretty much free using points and miles in the loyalty programs set by credit card companies, airlines, or hotels. And really, I'm not supposed to say the H word anymore according to like my affiliate stuff. So hopefully Chase and Amex do not see this live. But yes, points and miles travel or award travel or travel hacking, all those words generally will mean the same thing in this context, which is how to travel for free using loyalty program points.
Yes, and there are loyalty program points both inside America and outside. Today, we're going to be focusing mostly on the American travel industry specifically, because we're both American. But of course, you can Google travel hacking and travel points rewards in your own country in case you have different options. So when you're travel hacking, could you give us an example of like the end-to-end process, just so we're all on the same page?
Sure. So I think a lot of people start at the wrong end when they're starting to get into travel hacking. I always recommend to people, especially if you're first starting out, start with a goal in mind. So many people just want to dive straight into credit cards. They start saying, okay, I want a Hilton card, and I want this United card, I want an Amex, I want a Chase card. And then you end up with 20 different cards across 20 different pools of points. And they might transfer to each other to get cool prizes, like better business class travel or a nice hotel, or you can fly the whole family instead of one person. Those are cool prizes. And you might not be able to do that if your points are spread thin across multiple programs and you can't pool them together. So what I recommend instead is start with your destination and your goal in mind. Say to yourself, okay, I want me and my partner to travel to New York City next year around this time of year, and work backwards from there. Who flies from your home airport to New York City? Which airlines fly there? How many points is it even going to take to get that flight for free for two people? Is it different based off of distance or time of year or anything? So kind of get a feel for how much it's going to cost in points. Then figure out which transferable partners will even transfer to that style of points, whether you need Chase cards or Amex cards or anything like that, or if you can just get enough points by traveling with that airline and flying with that airline. It might be a little bit difficult to do that, but you might be able to. And then once you've got all of that figured out, then go backwards and say, okay, here are the cards that I would actually need.
Absolutely. It's starting with the ultimate goal and then calculating which cards and how many points you need to end up at that original goal. That's like the secret spots. That's the sweet spot. Because I love what you mentioned. Like if you open all the cards at the same time, then you have points scattered around and you might not be able to redeem any of these points because you just don't have enough. What is your favorite card?
So my favorite cards are actually the business credit cards, which I think are so overlooked, where people are always going for like the personal cards and like the Chase Sapphire cards. But there's this whole realm of business credit cards, and people are like, oh, but I don't have like an LLC, I don't have a real business. Just if you have side gigs, you can qualify for a lot more business credit cards than you would expect. Some of them have no annual fee. Some of them have much higher sign-up bonuses, much better perks. So I would say those are my favorite. And there's some that aren't talked about nearly as much. I think so many travel bloggers will go for like the easy route of get the Chase Sapphire Preferred because it's the most popular first card. But I would also tell people, open those side gigs. Like if you're thinking about getting a side gig, do the side gig and then get some business credit cards out of it, and you can get a ton more points and miles that way.
Yeah, I feel like I have so many business expenses that this is not something I've really taken advantage of. My business is incorporated in America, so this is a resource that I should be taking advantage of, but have not yet. So thank you for that tip. I really appreciate it. What was the most recent travel hacking success that you've had? Share with us the gossip.
So I have a couple. My husband and I recently celebrated our 6th wedding anniversary. So we did a fancy staycation in New York. We stayed at the Park Hyatt for 30,000 Hyatt points, which you can get easily with a sign-up bonus or like 1/3 of a transferable bonus or something like that. And so if you stay at the Park Hyatt New York, you Google this, it's going to cost like $860 for one night. Including taxes and fees. And the nice thing about Hyatt is when you pay with points, you don't have to pay taxes or fees, or we didn't do parking or anything. But yeah, you don't have to pay anything. Just here's the points. And so we got 860 for free. I also have status with that hotel. So when you have status, it's really nice because you can get upgraded. We didn't get a full suite upgrade, but we did get upgraded to a slightly larger room on the top floor. The bathtub was in front of like this huge skyline view. So I have many photos of me just like drinking champagne in like a bathrobe, sitting in a bathtub. It's fantastic. And because it was our anniversary and I like tagged them and stuff on social media, they sent up some chocolate covered strawberries. Oh, and there was like gold foil sprinkled in to the chocolate because they're that fancy at the Park Hyatt. And a $150 bottle of champagne. So all in all, this was more than $1,200 for one night that we got completely for free, just using points.
Amazing. I love a good hotel hack. So my preferred hotel hacking is with Expedia because I may or may not work for them. And I have a gold status Expedia badge, I guess you call it, or status. And then I booked my parents into a hotel in New York because they're going to my sister's graduation. And with my status, they got a free upgrade and a free bottle of wine. And I might have told the hotel service that it's their anniversary. So my parents are enjoying all the amenities and I get those points. So yeah, like book everything on one system, one place, and learn how to play the system there, because then you can really maximize your efforts, your money, your points, versus trying to dabble in lots of different programs at once. Do you have any advice for anyone who might be a little bit afraid of credit cards and who are looking for ways to travel hack without opening a credit card?
Yeah, there's lots of different ways actually. So like you mentioned, there's different Expedia things. I talk about a lot of different point systems on my Instagram that aren't all just credit card related. So for example, the other day I posted about a quick survey you can take with Hilton, and you get 10,000 points, which can be enough for like a cheap hotel room just for completing a survey. It takes like 10, maybe 15 minutes. So that's a quick hack you can do. There's lots of different programs you can use, like Rakuten, which will transfer over to Amex. And I love that shopping portal. You can just install the Chrome plugin. It gives you a pop-up so you can earn cash back whenever you're shopping online anyway. The Dosh app will give you cash back. I'm in New York, so I use Seated, and I earn a lot of points just eating at restaurants in New York. So a lot of these will just do cash back through gift cards, and you can apply them towards hotels.com, Airbnb, Southwest, Delta Airlines, whatever your airline of choice is. So you can get a lot of just gift cards that way by using different apps that don't involve a credit card at all.
And if you're in Europe, you can check out Check24, and they have lots of good deals and cashback offers, just like you mentioned, where you don't need a credit card. And we were able to finagle a $200 voucher, or euro voucher, excuse me, so that we're going to apply for our trip to Poland or potentially America. And that was just doing our normal spending and just remembering that if you're going to be travel hacking all year round, you need to be just a little bit more intentional and careful with your spending. To answer the question, this will be posted. It will be hosted on my page, and then I'm sure Julia will share it in her stories as well. So don't worry. Julia, what is a common pitfall that people might experience when it comes to travel hacking that you would like to advise on?
There's so many different pitfalls. So one is, like I mentioned before, shiny card syndrome, where you don't really have a strategy for why you're opening these cards. You're just grabbing everything. That's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Have a plan. Another one I would say is only following one person or like the same person over and over again. But it's really good to get different diverse views of how to maybe approach an award redemption, because there's so many different ways to approach points and miles, and there's literally nobody who knows every trick. And I really like that on Instagram we're forming more of a community, because there are honestly some people who will, like, if you tag another points and miles creator in the comments, they'll like delete that comment, they'll like restrict them. It's bad. It's real bad, because they don't want their followers to use somebody else's affiliate links. It's super bad. So like I would say follow points and miles creators who give shout outs to other points and miles creators, because that way you know that like they're a little bit more open to different ways of thinking, and it's not just about getting affiliate link money, because I have affiliate link money. I make a lot of money through people applying through cards through my page, and that's how most creators will make money. But there's other ways too, and I want to really encourage creators to find different avenues as well. There's coaching, there's community, like I have a Patreon too. Lots of different ways to make money, and blocking people from sharing other resources in your comments is not the way. So I would say that's another pitfall people do, is like they find one person to follow and that's all they do. So I try to feature lots of different people on the podcast.
Yeah, I love your resources, not just because you featured me, but also because I meet so many different people that I initially wouldn't have immediate like access to, or I don't know about you, but I just try to limit my social media time now, because I am working full time. I want to be out in the real world as well. So sometimes I can't be searching for new faces and new voices, and then you just provide them to me. So I'm really grateful for that, Julia. It sounds like this happened recently, where someone was blocking someone else's resources.
Oh, it's been happening like recently and forever. Like I've only recently gotten into the space, maybe a year or so. But then it was funny, because when I started, like my whole mission was to promote more diversity in travel hacking media, points and miles media, a lot of people would just like DM me like stories of like, so-and-so blocked my comment in this Facebook group, or like on this Instagram. I'm like, yeah, well, now I have collected all of your thoughts. Okay, hello community. So I want to make sure that as much as I can, with whatever small influence I have, I am able to share lots of different tips and tricks, and that involves sharing a lot of other people's accounts too, who maybe would never get to be featured anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's so refreshing that you feature so many different people from all sorts of walks of life. So not just the like straight white males who can travel without family, without children, without debt. Like, you feature real people who are paying down debt, they have children, they have a variety of things in their life that maybe they have to prioritize over traveling and over point hacking. And that really humanizes them to the rest of us. So I appreciate that. What is one sneaky way that people might not always think of to earn points all year round?
It's not for earning points, but to get upgrades, like we mentioned, we both wrote to different hotels. I have that template that I use whenever I write to hotels. You can find it in the link in my bio, so you can get that template. I used it to get like $1,000 for free in Maui one time.
I'm sorry, excuse me, what? You're gonna have to repeat yourself.
Yeah, so there's this email upgrade template. You can find it in the link in my bio. And one time I had a free night certificate in Maui. And I'm like, we're going to use this at the most expensive hotel in the world, which is the Grand Wailea. It's a Waldorf Astoria hotel. It starts at $500 per night as their cheapest room. So I'm like, all right, $500 a night for free. And then I used this template and wrote to the hotel and said, hey, if you have availability, if you're not sold out, can we get a $650 per night room? I have status. And they ended up upgrading us to this $900 per night room, which is in a gated community part of the hotel, which I didn't realize hotels have gated communities.
Yeah,
but we had like the best view ever of the ocean, and it came with free breakfast, free cocktail hour, which was really heavy enough to be dinner. So we didn't have to buy food in Hawaii, which saved us a ton of money. And then they also wheeled in champagne, snacks, and everything. And I wrote on this card, or I wrote in this letter, like, we're celebrating a special occasion. And the special occasion was someone else's wedding. And they were like, how come you got this upgrade? I'm like, because we stayed at this hotel and I have all of these tricks. So it's not like a way to get more points, but it's a way to get a lot of cool perks and upgrades without having to worry about opening credit cards and getting points.
Yeah, I think upgrades are the unsung hero of the travel hacking industry, because we always forget. We just focus like, how do I get enough points for business class? And we completely forget that we could like upgrade from premium economy for free, or from business class to first class. I also do lots of upgrades through Expedia's website, because I am a gold status member. So don't be sleeping on those upgrades, y'all. I
think another pitfall that people get into once they like learn about travel hacking, because it sounds sneaky, everybody thinks that the way to get a ton of points and miles is to do like stuff that's bordering on illegal. And I just want to tell everyone, don't do that. People send so many DMs to me being like, is this a good idea if I just like purchase the Square on Amazon and then just like swipe my own credit card through and pay myself? I'm like, no, that's fraud. Don't do that. There are better ways. They involve like a little bit of creativity and strategy, but they also won't get the police called on you. And so many people just think like the way to go is like, how do I do stuff that borders on illegal and not get caught? And I'm like, don't DM me asking for those, because I don't know those. First of all, I don't do them myself, and also I'm not gonna tell people through my DMs how to commit financial crimes. So that, I would say, is another like huge pitfall of people, where they're like, there's no way for normal people to do this. You either have to be like doing organized crime or like a business traveler or like some other thing. But there's really lots of different ways to get points and miles, and you don't have to break laws to do them. So I try to remind people of that every so often too.
It's also not that serious, y'all. We are trying to travel hack to enjoy our lives, to see new places, not because there's some sort of financial gain that you would break the law in order to achieve. Like, that's not what we're promoting here. Also, would you really want to go to jail for like getting around a $200 like additional fee or cost for a hotel? No, I can think of 100 ways better to go to jail for. And this is not one of them at all.
Is one of them going to Chinese jail because you quit your teaching job?
Yeah, no kidding. That time I was undocumented in China. Oh, Vanessa, no. Julia, my years of illegal activity, no. My time of visa dodging and like crappy like grayness that I've done, that's way behind me. That's like 21-year-old Vanessa who has no idea what she's doing. Today we play by the rule. Today we report our taxes properly. We have all of the financial and legal support. We're doing things the clean, safe, boring, and expensive way. But that's because we're adults and we got stuff to lose finally. If someone was part of a couple, there's two people, what would be the best way to team up to make sure that you make the most out of your points and options that you can do with those points?
Yep, so we call this two-player mode when you have both of you trying to earn points and miles to get the trip. And it's so much nicer too when you, whether it's your significant other or a friend, or some people are like, my player two is my mom, and then we like travel together. It makes it so much easier because it's easier for each person to earn their own sign-up bonuses, to get their own flights for free. You can share a hotel room, so you only need half the hotel points. And then you can really coordinate with each other to get all the points that you need. And the really nice thing is you get referral bonuses when you refer each other to cards. So never ever, guys, never apply for cards just straight through Google. Always use somebody's referral link, whether it's your spouse, whether it's like you want to support a creator like me or anybody who I feature on the podcast who has their own links. Use somebody's links to apply, because otherwise the commission that the banks are going to pay out in referral fees or anything, the banks will just get to keep that money. And they already have money. You need money. So refer each other to cards.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great rule of thumb for everything, actually. Like, if you can support Julia and I by using one of our affiliate links for something that you were already going to buy, that is at no additional cost to you. It allows us to continue what we do best, which is provide free and affordable information to our communities. And it's just a great way to make sure that we don't have to host shady promoters or people just to pay our bills. Like, it allows us to do what we want when we want, which is supporting you guys first and foremost. Julia, do you have like a course or an experience where people can learn more about points hacking if they're just beginners?
Sure. So I offer free coaching calls or $10 priority coaching calls, because the free ones will, they run out really, really quick. So you can find those through the link in my bio as well. If you're interested in it, please jump on it, because there's at least a 2-week waiting period all the time for these, because I only do a few of them each week. I also have a Patreon where we do a masterclass every month. We have more than 100 people sign up every month where we cover a particular program. So sometimes it's domestic airlines, hotel programs. We will cover stacking tricks this month, which is how you can get with one credit card swipe points across like 4 or 5 multiple programs at the same time. So we'll cover stacking. And all of those can be found in the link in my bio as well. You can get access to recordings in the Patreon as well. So those are a few of the ways that if you're a beginner and you're looking for some extra help, I can help out there. And also the podcast is great. You'll get to hear from lots of different people, and I encourage you to follow them on Instagram as well, because everybody has a different viewpoint of how you can do points and miles, whether you're looking for it for a family, or you want luxury travel, or you want budget travel. There's something for everybody in points and miles.
I can't believe you offer free one-to-ones, girl. I don't even pick up my DMs without demanding some sort of like compensation, because people really use and abuse creators on this platform. I am hit with hundreds of DMs being like, how can I move here and there? But I don't ever want to participate in your community. I don't want to invest in you. I just want to use your information to better my own circumstances. Why do you offer free consultations?
So I really want to make this more accessible to people, and you do have to pay a $10 deposit. And I only did that because I had people who just weren't valuing the time at all and would do no-shows. So if you don't show up, you forfeit your deposit. And all of the payment structures I have in place really are just to make people behave the way that I hope they will behave. Like, show up for appointments on time, and really that's it. Just show up to appointments on time, and like take the advice that you're being given, because I do have a lot of people in my DMs who are always just like, which card is it that you're talking about? Because I can't say a lot of specific card offers on my channels due to different affiliate agreements. So people would DM and be like, which card are you talking about? And then they never actually like open any cards. I'm like, knowledge will only get you so far. And if you spend like a year learning about like every possible move you can make and you make 0 moves, you're honestly still at the same place that you were a year ago, where you could have just signed up for one card, gotten a free trip somewhere, and then even if it's not the best move, at least you made a move. Just don't sign up for a Nordstrom or Macy's card, because that's possibly the worst move you can make. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like if you're gonna reach out to creators also, and they take the time to give you like advice, take the advice, because at some point I'm just like, I'm not gonna give this person advice anymore. They're not paying for it, and they're clearly like not even helping themselves by taking the advice that I'm willing to give for free. So there's that.
No, you are a much better woman than I. Please do not ask me to do free labor, and respect my platform and myself as a creator, because we can only prioritize so much. And I think you work full time too, right?
I do work full time as an actuary, and I do this as an eccentric hobby. And
an eccentric hobby.
Eccentric hobby, and if people upset me, then I'll just like shut down the free calls. So use them. And they're here for now. They're free. I think a lot of people are starting them up as well. I think that's probably part of the creator journey too, is I use them for like content ideas and to help people. And normally I can get like a credit card sign up here or there with these calls. But yeah, as I venture into other things like brand collaborations or something, the availability of these calls will go down more and more. So that's why I also try to link to a lot of people who probably offer something for free or cheap.
Yeah, well, we appreciate everything that you do. I love what Miss Protocol says. Thanks for everything that you do. So Julia, this is coming to the end of our live. Where can everyone find you? And do you have anything coming up that you'd like to promote?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, mostly at GeoBreeze Travel. You can find the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, GeoBreeze Travel Podcast, and upcoming things. So if you're in New York City, I am organizing a ladies' points and miles dinner, just like happy hour, for us to all get together. So let me know if you're interested, and I have a post on my feed pretty recently about details for that, and I'll teach you how to get like points at 5 different places with one restaurant reservation. So do that if you're in New York. But also on July 20th, we have our next edition of the masterclass, also talking about stacking points with different programs. If you join the Patreon, you'll get access to the recordings as well of all of the different masterclasses that we've had so far. So you get all of the old ones too.
Amazing. I actually might look into that. Unfortunately, you don't have a European version just yet for me, but Julia, I have faith that you may expand. So I appreciate you so much coming onto the channel, sharing your knowledge, sharing what you do best. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the internet.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye.